Hey, what's up? Just wanted to give a rundown on what I've been working on lately. I've actually been working on my motorcycles. It's been a long time since I've done it. Really, the whole reason why I'm even doing anything with these bikes is the El Camino needs some parts, and I'm gonna sell some of my other junk to get new junk for my other junk. And I'll do a video on the El Camino shortly. It's had a lot of stuff going on with it. But anyway, I've had these bikes, over 10 years. A lot of them were just sitting around in my garage up on the shelves back there. You can see there's a couple more still there. They've been sitting around, and I've always had the intentions of working on them and taking them apart and restoring them and making them super nice and stuff. And I was just never getting around to it. I was, busy working on that, that one and the dots in there, especially the dots, and it takes up a ton of my time. But so I just decided, screw it. Like, I'm gonna pull these bikes out and just get them cleaned up, get them running, and just sell them off, make a little bit of money and some room. So anyway, start with this bike. This is a 1973 CL175. Used to ride this out of my buddy's place in Humwool back when we were in high school, and we'd ride it around and just thrash it and trash it and all that kind of stuff. And eventually he sold it off to a buddy of his, who then just abandoned it. And it sat, kind of half in a barn for, 10 years, maybe longer. And then it was looking really shitty. And then I got it and I stored it up in my garage for another 10 or so more years. And finally I pulled it out and got it running. And it actually cleaned up. I didn't do a whole lot to it. I just polished it, painted it. Well, I didn't paint it, sorry. Polished the paint and the chrome, stuff like that. But flip the key on, hit the starter button, and it runs and rides, licensed, everything. So yeah, trying to sell this thing off just so I can get some money for that fucking thing. So that's the 175. And then this guy here, this is a little S65 from 1965. My buddy's dad, same buddy that had that bike, he had this, and he never let us ride it because he knew we would destroy it, and he was probably right. So anyway, he always had this thing sitting in his garage, and he'd take it out and put it around every once in a while. And one day he couldn't find the key to it, and so it sat in the garage from, I don't know, I think the last time he rode it was probably 90, 96, 97. This one stayed in the garage the whole time though, so it didn't, get as messed up as that one. So anyway, same thing. I got this bike from him, and I stored it up on the shelf in there, and it sat for a long time until finally I got around to it. And same thing, it's a real nice little bike. Turn the key on it. This one has an electric start, which kind of sucks, but it's no big deal. Kick it over, and it just runs. And it's not like I'm not cheating. Like, I didn't, it's cold, and that's just how these things run, man. These little Hondas, they're freaking awesome. So yeah, this one's actually already sold. I just sold it yesterday, so that's pretty much the rest of the money I need to get the parts for that guy. I got a couple other bikes. I got a little CB750 Cafe that I built a long time ago and broke, and a CL450 that I'll get to it one of these days. The engine's up there on the workbench. Anyway, here's another CL175. This one's like a 68, 69 maybe. I'm not totally sure. I gotta dig up the van and check it out. But this bike, same place as the other ones. That's where all my bikes came from, is this place out in Humboldt. And This one, it's always been frozen. Engine was frozen. It sat outside for a long time. But surprisingly, the frame is in like really nice shape. It actually has like decent paint on it. And the chrome, you know, chrome's a little rusty, but some navel jelly and steel wool clean that up. Same with the wheels. The wheels aren't bad. I've seen way worse shit. You know, fork's obviously leaking, but everything looks pretty good. You know, it's a complete bike. The rest of it is up here in some of these totes up there somewhere. I got all the body work. That's where all my bike parts go. So yeah, anyway, the engine didn't fare quite as well though. I pulled it apart and had to use a drift on the pistons here, and I ended up denting the pistons, but they were pretty trashed anyway. I mean, they look good, but I knew if I was going to have to drive the pistons out of this thing, that you know, it's going to end up getting bored. So, and that's what's going to happen. Get some decent light on these cylinders here. See if I can get some sunlight on them. But yeah, they are like nasty, scaly. This was a side that wasn't seized. Obviously, this is a side that was seized. And so, yeah, it's going to get bored out. I'm probably just going to punch it out 100, you know, 100 thousandths, 100 millimeters, whatever, not 100 millimeters, Jesus. Whatever, the biggest size piston I can get in it, just because if I'm there doing it, I'm going to do it. And that way I know I'll be able to find some good material in these cylinders. You know, if the shop ends up saying those cylinders are bad, I've got like 3 other motors. You know, I've got a pile of motors and stuff back here. So the other part that was pretty gnarly was the cylinder head. It was a little beat down. When I pulled the carburetors off, a bunch of white oxide and stuff, not white, whatever, aluminum oxide came out, and that's the pretty bad side. We'll see how well it can clean up. Chambers are pretty scaly. Also, valves are probably no good. Seats are probably crapped out, you know. So, also, not a huge deal. I've got more motors, so whatever. You know, I'll tear them all apart and make one decent one. But yeah, the carbs were completely seized. I had to just cut the cables because the slides are just seized in there. You know, you can see all the oxide and stuff. So, yeah, those probably aren't salvageable. eBay to the rescue, no big deal. But yeah, anyway, so I've done a couple bikes like these. I've built stuff that was in way worse condition. But typically what I do is I get the bike out, whatever shape it's in, throw it up here on the rack. Obviously the motor is the first part, so you know, I'll drop the motor off the bike and start tearing it down. And typically I just use a Rubbermaid tote for the whole bike. And all I do is, as I start disassembling it, you know, I'll just tag and bag stuff, throw it in a tote, you know, and then once I get the bike down to the frame, I pretty much start from there. If the frame needs paint, I'll paint. This one's actually in good shape, so I'll probably just clean it up. And I just start the reassembly process at that point. I'll grab whatever part that I want to put on the bike out of the tote, polish, paint, whatever, sandblast, and just start reassembling the bike. So this one, I'm going to strip it down to the frame. I'm not going to paint it because it's in pretty good shape, and I think I'm going to just sort of rock the patina on it, just like the others. They've got some cool patina that show their age, and I don't want to screw that up. You know, the wheels, depending, you know, I'm probably going to pull the spokes because I just hate trying to restore spokes. It's a fucking pain in the ass, and that and polishing and cleaning hubs in the middle there with the spokes on the bike, it's a pain in the ass. And I've built wheels, it's no big deal. I can get some spokes, they're not terribly expensive, but anyway, I'll probably pull the spokes, and that'll help me, that'll let me clean the chrome a little nicer, clean the hubs a little nicer. But yeah, I'm just kind of figuring out which way I want to go with this thing. I have no good original handlebars for these bikes. They're all just rusty, nasty, and I kind of hate the way they look. So I'm probably just gonna do the whole, you know, cafe bobber or whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm just gonna throw a set of Z-bars on it because I sort of like the way these bikes look with low bars. I'll probably rock the original tank, original seat, because I've got good foam and covers for them. And I'll just run lowered bars. I'll probably keep the taillight. You know, I'll have to get a look at it once the seat and the tank are on it. You know, I might do something different. But these fenders are actually in pretty good shape, so I don't want to bob them. You know, a lot of times if they're just hammered on the back and dented, I'll just bob it, cut it off, and you know, do something cool with it. This one's a little bent, but I can straighten that. But yeah, so I'm you know, that's kind of an update what I've been doing. Just been working on these bikes, which is actually kind of cool. It's been a long time since I've done it, and at the same time, making more room in my garage, making a little bit of money for the next thing that's coming up with the El Camino. I'll make a video on it, but basically this thing has been tearing through 700 R4s like you wouldn't believe, and I'm really sick of it. And if I'm gonna spend the money and cut up the car to put a bigger, beefier, better transmission in it, it's getting a T56, and I'll convert it to manual transmission. So they're not very cheap, and I just retired from the military, so I'm just kind of at home kicking it, you know, living the retired life for a little while. So yeah, I'm selling off my other junk to get new parts for some of my other junk. But yeah, anyway, that's it. Thanks a lot.